Dwayne Haskins is available. Daniel Jones is available. That one wouldn't make me very happy.
The New York Giants select Daniel Jones.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Odell Beckham Jr., gone. Landon Collins, gone. Daniel Jones, in. Giants fan, I'm sorry. In the present, you might not have much, but what you do have is me, Mr. RBT, Madden 19, Rebuild. New York Giants, not in the greatest of states, but today, at bare minimum, I look to make you Giants fans at least a little bit happy, as we're gonna rebuild the New York Giants and see what I can do with this team. Not the most talented team, but we're gonna see in Madden 19 what kind of magic I can work, what I can do to this roster in this little amount of time, and see if we can bring this team in its current state with, not that much talent to a bare minimum a playoff berth. Now, what's the target win total for today's video? That is gonna be decided by the wheel right here. It has 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, and 12 wins. Gonna spin this wheel, and whatever we land on is gonna be the target win total for today's rebuild. And if we don't reach that, since Daniel Jones is the hot topic, their #1 draft pick, we don't reach the target, we have to go into Madden Ultimate Team, buy his Ultimate Team card, which is like a 97 overall, and just discard it or list it up for somebody to buy for like 100 coins, which means I lose a lot of coins. Guess with that, time to spin this wheel, man. I would take 10. Looks like we're gonna get this freaking team. We have to find a way to get 12 wins where I lose like 200,000 coins. It's a 71 overall team, 75 offense. We're gonna be shipping on Eli Manning, as Daniel Jones is gonna be the quarterback for today's video. Defense, it's awful. Linebacker core, it's awful. Even the young first-round draft picks, Daniel Jones was 75, DeAndre Baker is 74. They're not going to be helpful because it's a one-season-and-done rebuild. Not going to be realistic because at the end of the day, I don't think there's any way you could realistically rebuild this team in one setting and turn them from where they are now to a 12-win team. So with that said, this is going to take a hot minute because we have a lot of work to do. It's time to welcome our first piece of the puzzle to New York. Zach Martin, incoming from the Dallas Cowboys. Finally, Eli Manning's outgoing to Dallas to serve as Dak Prescott's backup, along with our backup tight end Rhett Ellison and our first-round draft pick to bring in a huge piece to an offensive line that just simply is pretty awful. So the more and more I began to look at this lineup, it is literally probably the least talented team that I have ever began a rebuild with ever since I've been doing this. So the only way there's any sort of possibility that this team can go from where they're at now to 12 wins is if we go and spend some of our cap in free agency, which there's not hardly any talented free agents left, but we have 50 million cap room, so we're going to sign some players while we have the ability to do so. Number one, we're going to bring in some veterans to help out the squad. DRC is going to be coming back to New York for a 1-year deal. We're going to sign him to the squad. Also, veteran Julius Thomas to give the young Daniel Jones another target at tight end. He's going to come in as well. Also, to take the load off a young running back, Saquon Barkley, J.J. is going to come in to back him up. He'll get a couple carries this season. And also, we need a little bit of help on that offensive line. So we're going to bring in Jack Mewhort to help out. Hopefully, spending some of our cap in free agency will help this team out at least a little bit, because this team is so bad, you can't even hardly trade anybody away to get anything in return because there's no talent on this team. Try to tell you guys, never ask questions. We get a first-round draft pick from the LA Rams, which for some reason is valued at the #5 pick, for our backup 69 overall center, for our 4th-string running back Wayne Gallman, who's also a 69, and a 4th-round draft pick from this year. So here we bring in a huge veteran to help that New York Giant defensive line. Calais Campbell coming over from the Jacksonville Jaguars, an 88 overall to slide in at that left defensive end position, for our free safety Thomas, who is 29 and 73 overall, who we've got to replace, and a 3rd-round draft pick from next year. Once again, man, I'm just simply not going to ask questions. We trade away backup strong safety 34-year-old Antoine Bethea, 75 overall, and a 3rd-round draft pick to trade up for a 2nd-round draft pick from the Cleveland Browns. We needed to get rookie quarterback Daniel Jones a target to throw to replace Odell Beckham Jr., and we did just that. As we acquire AJ Green from the Cincinnati Bengals, we had to trade away a lot, but we needed that #1 target. had to trade away outside linebacker Marcus Golden, backup D tackle Dexter Lawrence, and the first round draft pick that we got from the LA Rams. Now, somehow we have to find a way to get some linebackers because our linebacker core is already awful. Now it's even worse. So as per mentioned, I had to find some way that we could upgrade our linebacker core because it is absolutely god-awful at this point. Shinley, although he's older and only an 81 overall, is going to be a huge improvement from what we already had. Had to trade away Jonathan Stewart, 4th round draft pick from next year, and a 6th round draft pick from this year. It might not seem like a lot, but that's actually huge. So unfortunately, I feel like I really overpaid here, but at the end of the day, no matter what, we do get another veteran linebacker added to the squad, Lorenzo Alexander, 84 overall, coming over from the Buffalo Bills for our 2nd string outside linebacker and one of our young corners that just wasn't going to see any playing time. Once again, I know I overpaid accidentally, may or may not have been, but at the end of the day, we do get an upgrade. So with this, we get our Dexter Lawrence replacement and our starting defensive tackle, Kaiwan Short, coming over from the Carolina Panthers for Lorenzo Carter. I know he's a young and talented linebacker, but we need somebody to be good this year. Hence why we got the veteran Lorenzo Alexander. 2nd round draft pick from next year, and our 5th or 6th string wide receiver, Benny Fowler. Once again, man, I just don't ask questions. Sean Chandler, our current starting free safety, who we obviously have to upgrade because he was a 66 overall. For some reason, the Kansas City Chiefs wanted him. So we get their 2nd round draft pick from this year, and hopefully we can use that to get an even better free safety because we're not going to be able to cut it with a 66 overall. Once again, man, I'm just going to roll with it. For some reason, the Panthers want to send me their 1st round draft pick for my 68 and 69 overall defensive tackles. I'll gladly take in this 1st round draft pick because still at this point, dude, we need it so bad. I've been trading and making moves for 45 minutes now, and I don't even feel like I'm a fraction of the way done yet, and we don't have anything else really that I can trade away, so everything at this point helps. Well, there we go, dude. Another freaking 1st round draft pick we get, which I'm not complaining, but I'm really struggling right now to bring in players to the squad that make sense and are good value. So I had to trade away 2 pretty crappy wide receivers that weren't going to play much for us, but at the same time, I was trying to get players in return, but hopefully, eventually, we can actually start getting some players to help our squad, because we need it for sure. I seriously have no idea at all, but let's welcome Jamal Adams, as he doesn't have to move too far from the New York Jets to the New York Giants. Our backup center, one of those 1st round draft picks we got, and a 2nd round draft pick. And Jamal Adams will gladly be our new starting free safety. And that's so much better than what I thought we could have got. But once again, man, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but never ask questions. Once again, another draft pick incoming, this time a 2nd rounder for Haley, a cornerback who is our 5th corner who wasn't going to play much for us. He's young, but we don't need him for now. And a 7th round draft pick to acquire the 2nd. So I know you guys are about to think I'm insane, dude, but I've literally tried so hard to get as many middle linebackers as possible, and nobody's having any of it. For example, let me show you. I'm think Avery Williamson's the best linebacker that we can get. Zach Brown, let's say Zach Brown. Normally, I mean, he's a little bit older. He's close to 30, 78 overall. A 1st round draft pick. It would take about 70 of them for him to send Zach Brown over to the Giants. So I think at this point, like, that's literally our best bet to bring in Avery Williamson to the New York Giants because he's better than what we currently have. It is going to take a lot, dude, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. A 1st and a 2nd, submit that through. It's close. We're only going to have a couple more draft picks to send elsewhere to try to bring somebody else in to improve this team. It was accepted, so this might look bad up front, and it probably is, but there's a reason I did this. Like, I've literally sat here probably for the past 20 minutes trying to get anybody over a 90 overall for Mario Edwards in a 2nd. We couldn't do it. The only way I could get anybody that could possibly make an impact on my team was if I added in Sterling Shepard to bring in Jarrell Casey. Now, he's going to start at right end for us. Our defensive line is going to be so much better than what it was when we started. But I did want to trade away Sterling Shepard, but it's the only way anything would help our team. Well, would you look there? Just like that, we get our replacement. Veteran Emmanuel Sanders coming over to the squad, going to replace Sterling Shepard in that slot. 84 overall, so in Madden terms, this is better for this 1-year rebuild. Have to trade away Alec Ogletree in our 5th corner. So bros, this is where these things begin to take twists and turns. Our young backup right end, 75 overall, B Hill. 1st round draft pick from next year, bringing the veteran 91 overall left in from the Chicago Bears, a 7th and a 6th. Akeem Hicks coming over to New York. Now we can ship on Calais Campbell and see if we can improve any other position. Guys, I really don't know, and I really don't care. 267 overall is being shipped on to the Green Bay Packers for their first round draft pick from this year. And with this, dudes, I think there's going to be one last huge trade that I am going to be able to complete. So this definitely wasn't the trade that I wanted to complete, but I just don't have enough to get the big guys that I wanted to try and bring in. But I think this should be enough to bring in Levante David. Yeah, it might be overpaying, but we need another middle linebacker. We're going to try to add him to the squad. Has been accepted, and that's literally, I believe, the last bit that we can improve this team. And I don't know how to feel about it, because obviously it's much better than what it was when we began, but is it enough to win 12 games? We're an 84 overall. I mean, the offense does look a lot improved. It's up to an 87 overall, as is the defense. I mean, Daniel Jones does have some good targets to throw to, and AJ Green, Golden Tate, and Emmanuel Sanders. See if those three additions at wide receiver can equate for the same production as Odell Beckham Jr. Now, defensively is where we made the big moves. The linebacker core is completely revamped. Sean Lee, Levante David, Avery Williamson, and Lorenzo Alexander. Jabril Peppers, obviously coming over from the Browns in the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. Jamal Adams is one of probably our biggest additions today. Going to play free safety for us. The D-line also is completely redone. Jarrell Casey, Kyle Wan Short, and Akeem Hicks. Cornerback core could have definitely probably had some additions to it, but I feel like improving the front seven is what we needed to do on defense. Now, is it 12 win worthy, dude? I don't know. As my fate is about to be revealed, I'm gonna say only like 8 wins. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, without cheating, how many wins are we about to get? Am I about to have to go and discard a 97 or 96 overall Daniel Jones out of Madden 19 Ultimate Team? Please, Madden gods, give me some bit of luck here. It all depends on how Daniel Jones does, and I think we did actually make the playoffs. But the question is, did we win 12 games? We won 13 games. Let's go, boys. Honest to God, I had no idea we were about to do that. But we went and did the goddamn thing, dude. And we still have a ton of upgrade points to use on some of these players. Daniel Jones apparently balled out this season. Jamal Adams up to a 91, dog. How did this actually happen? You've got to be kidding me, dude. This is actually hilarious. Actually hilarious. We had the #1 overall offense in the league, and defensively we had the 4th. So this team, I don't know how, dog, but we just wrecked the NFL of all quarterbacks. The meme pick of the NFL draft, Daniel Jones. We've gone out and not only turned him into the Rookie of the Year, we turned him into the NFL MVP, dog. What the heck? How did this happen, dude? I've made like 95 overall teams and rebuilds before and not even made the playoffs, and with this team, dude, we just hit 13 wins, and I'm actually in shock that we did that. But once again, dudes, we don't ask questions around here. Daniel Jones, 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. All the Giants fans that were hating on this pick, he's trying to prove you guys wrong. Running the football, Saquon, an incredible year. 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns. Jay Ajayi ended up being a pretty big addition out of free agency too, with 8 touchdowns. Receiving yard wise, we had 2 guys, both of the guys we added to hopefully replace the production of Odell Beckham Jr. had over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Julius Thomas, the veteran, had 8 TDs. So yes, we did add a lot of older veteran players, but sometimes to rebuild a team around a young quarterback, gotta add some veteran presence around them, and apparently somehow they meshed together and did what it took to get a freaking first round bye, a 13-3 season, and lead this team to maybe even a Super Bowl run. And obviously, for the video's sake, I want to win the Super Bowl, but at this point, I'm happy. I don't have to do the forfeit, and we did incredible, dude. Daniel Jones, with all the improvements, is up to an 87 overall. This team started at a 71, is now up to an 86. We're taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional round of the playoffs. Are we going to advance? And we do, taking on the 15-1 LA Rams. Now, obviously, they look like the best team in the NFL. They only lost 1 game. But let's see if somehow we can make it to the Super Bowl. And we did get the dub, 34-31 over the LA Rams. And what scenes, boys, as we're going to be taking on the Cleveland Browns, the team that acquired Odell Beckham Jr. This video could not have been scripted any better than this. Super Bowl, Giants, Browns, this freaking team that we started with, can we end up grabbing this dub? Now, it's gonna suck because at this point the video has been so perfect and it's just gonna be so anticlimactic if we do lose. But at the end of the day, everything up to this point, I'm happy with it. But at the press of a button, dude, we'll see if this video can get that 11 out of 10, that grad school 10 out of 10 rating. Can we finish off this video in perfect fashion, win this Super Bowl over the Cleveland Browns? And we do! 24-7, dudes! Literally and admittedly, I will say, I honestly believe this might have been my most successful rebuild of all time. And that's saying a lot. With all the rebuilds that I have done on the channel, we took this team surrounded by Daniel Jones. Literally, when it comes to trading players, probably the least amount of talent I had to trade away ever. And somehow, some way, with this goddamn team, dude, we won the Super Bowl. And I think after all that, the conclusion that we can take away from this video is the fact that the New York Giants need to hire me as GM.